Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJLIVE.
You know, I was kind of hesitant to say if I wanted to start the program by saying it, but Christmas, only a week away. Wow, it's here. Christmas. Can't believe it. Totally can believe it, but you know what? We're here. We got Christmas on the way. We have holidays on the way, and we're still rocking out. And wouldn't you know it too, on the other side of the holidays is the brand new year, which means brand new DJs, brand new topics to talk about, and a lot of upcoming things in the works. And wouldn't you know, we like to talk about it here on the program. Welcome on in to VRC DJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and if you're brand new here, or if you've been a part of the program for a very long time and you wanted to learn a little bit more about what we do here, we talk to everybody about all the sorts of things, a lot of hot topics here in our community, from DJing to VJs to dancers to security to club owners. Talk a little bit about club owning on the program today. And producers, I can't believe that there's such a huge wave of producers here in VRChat. And I know everybody's starting to kind of come out of the woodwork to talk a little bit about their things. But wouldn't you know it, our guest here with us on the program today, dubstep, bass-focused DJ at heart, loves to dabble in all sorts of different genres such as 140, halftime, trap, rhythm, and tear out. Fresh off of ShelterCon 7, which I'm sure a lot of people are very interested to hear a little bit of how that went. I wanted to go, couldn't afford the flight to go up there and party with everybody, but was able to see pictures and enjoy it from far away. And enjoys graphic design as a hobby, which I'm sure we're going to get into as well. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live Studios, SNAX.
What's going on?
Now, I don't want to go ahead and start the program and say, what is your favorite snack? But at the same time, I would only assume that, snacks, you do favor a lot of snacks. I know that's probably not what your name is all about, but every time I hear snacks, I feel like everybody would perk up because either you are a snack or you enjoy snacks.
Yeah, it's a very common sentiment I get. Honestly, I love to snack a lot, but if I had to pick a favorite, honestly, I love goldfish crackers. I don't know. You can't go wrong with the old classic, if I'm being completely honest.
Are you saying like just regular cheddar? Or, I mean, listen, I've been fighting with the pizza flavored people that love pizza flavored goldfish, and I can't tear them apart, but you're just straight up regular goldfish?
Yeah, I think the regular goldfish is just good enough. Maybe the extra cheddar every so often, but I think just the regular is just peak. You can't really beat it, honestly.
Not to go too ham on it, and I'm at that stage right now where I could wish I had a little bit more sleeping before the holidays, but my mind is screaming right now saying, if you have tomato soup and you put goldfish crackers in it, can you reverse that process as if it were a cereal? Because you have a lot of people that have cereal and they say that you have to pour the milk in first before adding the cereal, as opposed to the cereal and then the milk. But I can't think that would be a very good option to pour your goldfish crackers before the tomato soup. So I'm going to just sit here. Unless that's something that you've tried before.
No, I don't think I've ever tried that before, and that has never been a thought that's crossed my mind. It'd be interesting, though. It's kind of like putting saltine crackers in soup. Like, you do that with, like, I don't know, broccoli and cheddar or whatever, what have you. Like, it wouldn't be too far-fetched of an idea.
I feel like it would show up like a life raft, kind of just like it's from the depths of the tomato soup. You got this life raft of saltine crackers, but I digress. But really glad to have you here on the program. Again, we've been hearing a lot of great things about you performing, and I will say that I was trying to find a lot of little hidden things to kind of introduce you to our community. It's always very fun to go online and learn a lot about our guests outside of just performing and stuff like that. Simple little things like, loves long walks on the beach or hikes on weekends with my dog or anything like that. But, I feel like we need to introduce some of your hidden talents to kind of introduce us to some of the things that you've done.
Mm-hmm. If I go down the laundry list, there's a lot. Like, if I can go from the start, it's I think one of the things I am pretty proud of, at least, like I try to remain humble about it, is bringing the Blood Rave to VRChat. Of course, I didn't invent it. I don't want to come off with the sentiment that I made it. It's just something that inspired me from a young age. Like, I remember watching the first Blade movie with my dad, and that first scene in the vampire rave, and then it's just that I can't remember the name of the artist, but um, it's just that everyone knows that acid techno song, and that inspired me at a young age. And it's probably like the first like glimpse into electronic music I got. But like um very early on when I was trying to like get inspiration as a new DJ, I was like, oh, I remember this as like uh, as something from my childhood. So I tried to like work with mid tempo and sort of craft this. I I remember I was sitting with a couple friends of mine, and they're like, "Dude, your sound reminds me of something." I was like, "Is it the Blade Blood Rave thing?" And they're like, "Dude, that's it. That's perfect." And that was kind of my brand. And then with 1042, we worked together, and the owner was like, "Yo, let's do a Blood Rave thing. This is like for you, and we want to do this." And I'm like, "Okay." And finding out most recently that it was some people's first event that they ever like got like to experience is cool to me, and it's what got them into the VR like rave scene. It's crazy to me that that was their first event, and that's what got them into like the thing that we do, and that's what I'm pretty proud of. But I mean, other than that, like I don't know, I used to do a little bit of esports, not really too crazy. It was like maybe a 1 year thing. I competed for like an unnamed team or an unknown team for honor way back in the day. Um, but yeah, I was like, I don't know, I think top 3 in the world on a team called, or not a team, a character named Valkyrie from the game. It was like top 3 in the world. We were like number 1 in NA for I don't know, I think half a year, I think, and then I stopped doing that because during that time I was in the army, so I did my 4 years of active service. And with that, and you know, kind of just um, I mean, it was a good experience. Um, I mean, other than that, I mean, I do graphic design every so often. When I'm asked to do poster work, I do it for my own stuff. I do it for others when people ask me to do it, but I just kind of do it casually as a hobby. But yeah, that's kind of just a good rundown of some of the things some people may not know about me.
See, it's so interesting to me just because, like, me personally, I'm a huge fan of trying to understand what some of your favorite so-and-sos are up to or what they enjoy to do. Like, I still haven't answered my own question of how does Nicki Minaj go to bed? You know, does she have a routine? Does she have, how many pillows does she have on her bed? Does she sleep with a plushie? And then on top of it, how does she wake up in the morning? Is she a grumpy person? Does she like a cup of coffee? Does she stretch? Does she get freaky? You know, we don't know these things outside of regular Nicki Minaj doing Nicki Minaj things. But I don't know, the same thing kind of goes for the VRChat DJs. We got a lot of DJs that are in here and they perform, and we see them perform and they enjoy themselves. But at the same time, you know, after you're done performing, you're going to want to get like a cup of water or a snack or go to the bathroom or, you know, wipe your face or something, and you never really have any opportunities. Like, I can imagine you like coming off a stage and then like someone runs up to you and be like, "Oh my God, Snacks, I love you," and then you just wipe your face and you're, "I like goldfish crackers." Like that would kill me just to be able to see that, and they're just like, "What?" Like hold on to that awesome fact about me, and I hope you enjoyed the show. But it's cool to see all the different things that you have had been doing this past year, and I think a lot of people have been taking notice, obviously, up on social media too, that you like to present a lot of the things that you do as well. We'll be getting into ShelterCon as well. I will say that a couple nights ago, I had an opportunity to sit down and listen to your EP. What's it called? It's called South Parker Murder, right?
Yep.
And it's very delicious to listen to if you ever get some moments to sit down. It's up on SoundCloud back in, I believe it's in 2023. I will say, I love how silly Trunk Knocker is. I think that's probably my favorite track so far, is just sitting there just being like, I can't believe I'm sitting here listening to this, and it makes the most sense. I mean, it's a beat that makes the most sense, and I wish I had the subs up and knocking about. But yeah, how did that how long did it take for you to kind of produce something like that?
So that EP specifically, I mean, it took me roughly about eight months roughly of just trying to present something that I felt just made sense. Like naming the damn thing, I think took the longest almost, because I just had a bunch of ideas in my head about what I wanted it to be. But as soon as I nailed the name, I really started to hammer down and craft or really pick out the songs I wanted to be on the EP. One of them, called Hezi, that one released on ShelterNet. And fun story about that track. I sent that in to ShelterNet, not expecting anything to happen, because one of my friends named 90, who does the A&R for ShelterNet, their label. I don't know if he still does it anymore. I'm not quite certain. I haven't talked to Tony about that in a long time, but we used to play League together in a private server with some of my other friends. They're also VR DJs. Um, but we used to play League a lot, and I was making the beat in the Discord, and I showed it to a couple friends from that Discord, and I was like, "Hey, what?" I was like, "Should I send this into ShelterNet just to force 90 to listen to it?" And they're like, "Dude, do it. It'd be so funny." I was like, "Yes, it'd be really funny." So I sent it in. 2 months go by, I don't hear anything. I'm like, okay, doesn't matter. He'll probably tell me about that this beat sucked. What the hell did you like? What the hell was this? I remember I was working at my job, and I took a break, and I saw my Discord blow up, and he was like, "Yo, I saw that track you sent in. Sorry it took so long. This shit's fire. We want to run it." And I was like, you want to what? You talking about the beat I made in like 10 30 minutes? You want to put on ShelterNet? I was like, all right, cool. Let's run it. Let's do it. And that was kind of like a confidence boost, in a sense of like, I can do this. This is something I can do. I'm not maybe as bad as I think I am, but so that was one of the tracks that made it on there, just because like I feel like I have to put it on there. It's People love it to this day, and it still kind of boggles my mind, but I still kind of appreciate it for what it is. It's a unique idea. It's a unique taste on the drift funk style that I was really inspired by early on. And some of the other tracks were just ones I kind of worked on in between, kind of just working on them. And I think one of the tracks that took me the longest to make was the intro track, and that was just because like it took forever to find like news clips that I felt like made sense, and just to kind of make it um kind of set the tone for what the EP is supposed to be, because like South Parker Murder is kind of like, how do I describe it? Kind of like this ballad of what I think in like this fictional world of uh what South Parker is supposed to be. And South Parker is the name of a road or a busy street in Denver. And I've heard, some activity on it, but it's like it kind of inspired me to make this sort of ballad of some like gang activity or something like that. It's just some neat idea I had for it. And um funny enough, I think I finished the last two tracks maybe a couple weeks before. I was like, okay, this is the date I have released, because I talked to the guy who made my logo, and he told me when he was gonna have it by. So I was like, okay, I gotta have these songs finished by this date, and I think the last two tracks done by that date, or a couple days before or so, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but those ones I got hammered out pretty quick.
So when it comes to an intro, and I'm kind of interested. I think a lot of people have their own version of it too. I know it's kind of important to, again, introduce. That's an intro. That's what it does. It introduces to you the concept of what you're trying to put together, the whole idea of the linear, how everything becomes linear on an album. But it's not even just about that too. I think a lot of DJs, not in here so much yet. Hopefully in 2026 we'll start to see it more. But even with your experience of performing IRL, even through ShelterCon too, how important is it to develop kind of an intro to your set? I know a lot of people have done it before. Sometimes they're way too long. Maybe there's some they're still kind of complicated. But do you find it important for DJs to implement kind of an intro to their sets when they start to perform?
I think it is, honestly. It kind of sets the tone for what either you're trying to say through your set or your mix or what have you, and like establish the tone early on for however long you're going to keep that tone going. Um, and it could even just be a nice intro from a track that you really like, and that's something I like to do. Is just like find a good intro from a track I really like that really sets the tone. I haven't really made my own intros for my sets just because it sometimes takes a little longer and I am very indecisive about how I intro my sets anyways. Um, but to each their own, really. It's about how serious you take your project and how serious you're taking your set anyways. And there's not to knock anybody, but it again, it's just as serious as you want to take it. And if you want to take it super serious, then I think the intro is pretty important. And it's yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it is.
You know, you were just talking a little bit about ShelterNet, and of course, we had Tony on here from Shelter,
Mhm.
discussing all of the projects and things that he wants to do to contribute to the VR chat community, as well as even doing, I don't want to even say portal events, but just more IRL events. 2026, he did kind of hint towards some of the things that he was looking to want to do, as well as introducing some more VR chat DJs and being able to just continue to showcase that promotion. What is ShelterNet for you? Is it something that you think a lot of people are starting to pick up on? I know in 2025, this past year too, we've been seeing a lot of different record labels, and I don't even want to put it in air quotations because there are a lot of people that are trying very hard to want to understand the business, want to be able to promote a lot of the DJs and the producers in here because they're really good. Everyone's really good in here, and
Mhm.
you know we want to be able to give them a lot of opportunity to showcase what they're doing. So, in your eyes, when it comes to what you've seen on ShelterNet and with the stuff that they've been trying to produce and be able to showcase for the VR Chat DJs, how's that process been for you?
Um, I mean, working with Tony and the ShelterNet crew, it's been a pleasant experience for sure. Like I had no issues, and I've known Tony for about 3 years or so, and I mean he's super passionate about the project, and the whole team is super passionate about it, and it's inspiring to see how far they're willing to take it. And I think more people should be inspired to take a risk, do something important, I guess is the way I could put it. And even like making your own record label was cool just for VR artists, or just like saying, like, I just want my friends to be on my label, or whatever, make my own collective, because I remember that was a thing kind of back in the day, not in our scene, but like, music in general. Like there used to be a bunch of collectives, ciphers, whatever you want to call them. And especially in the rhythm scene, there are a bunch of collectives like EDP gang, or not EDP, FDP gang. There we go. I don't want to say the forbidden word, FDP gang, which is like EU-based collective of rhythm artists. And then you had like Bunda come up, which we found out, which was a collection of a bunch of well-known artists that kind of just made this stupid project, but it was something that kind of went off. And then you have, I'm trying to think of another collective off the top of my head. I guess Never Say Die was kind of one of those, but Yeah, I think it's cool. I definitely want more people to go and experiment and take some risks. But because I've talked to Tony about the specifics of what next year is going to hold, and I'm very interested to see how that's going to go. And I think it'll be successful because just seeing how ShelterCon 7 went, and um how much effort he puts into it and the entire team puts into it, I think it's going to be very successful. And I keep hammering Tony that he needs to bring ShelterCon to Denver and get some bass artists on there because it's going to pop off. He has been very dismissive about it, but I keep telling him, just like, make it happen. Not because I don't want to pay for a flight or anything, but definitely because I think the scene out here would love it. But totally not because I don't want to pay for a flight.
True, true, true. And all of that too, again, being able to showcase all of this in 2026, it might seem extremely intimidating for someone that is either just getting their new consoles. Maybe they did watch some YouTube videos. Obviously, there's a ton out there, not showcasing our show by any means. But at the same time, too, we talk a lot about what's going on. And uh, when it comes to understanding how easy it is to gain fame or popularity or doing something that is popular. There are a lot of either VRChat users in here that are just like, well, if you're in VR, you're gonna go to the rave community or you're gonna experience a DJ thing, which nowadays it's kind of been happening. And you either like it or you don't. If you don't, it's very vocal, I'm sure. But the people that are interested in it, they're gonna want to get into it really quick. And I don't want to say that they're going to fail right away, but at the same time, there's going to be moments in everybody's career where something either falters or you do have immediate success. I'll even say too, like those DJs, those premier DJs that do premiere, they get a huge following, they get a huge bunch of people supporting for that one little moment, and then they have to continue to work hard to continue to uphold that amount. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about that and how you want to continue that process of mentoring and being able to create some very great content to aid in the new users that are coming in to VR to understand DJing. There's so much to talk about on the show today, and I want to make sure that we touch upon it a little bit, but it is VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with SNAX, and it's a live show. I think that's one of the I was thinking a lot about our shows today too, because I'm just like, a lot of people do podcasts and a lot of people do recording and stuff like that, and then they're gonna be like, hey, watch our show where we talk to so and so, but it's not live. It's not like it could be heavily edited. We don't know. So because of the fact that it is a live show, it's nice to have people in chat already. We're having a lot of people being like, "Woo, SNAX rocks," and "Oh man, SNAX the goat." I'm not sure if you're looking at chat right now or seeing what's going on chat, but they're definitely saying a lot of nice things about you. And of course, with it being a live show, feel free to ask some of your pressing questions if you want to know a specific thing. If you guys were late, you missed out on SNAX's favorite snack. So you're going to have to rewatch the video on YouTube when we do release it on Sunday. That's why you have to kind of be here on time, lest somebody in chat ruins it, of course. But before we kind of get into a lot of the things here, I kind of want your opinion on being able to understand all of the DJs in here. I feel like we've gotten to the point already where we are starting to claim legacy DJs. I heard it. I heard it this past month. Someone told me that like Merles is a legacy DJ now. Jigsaw is a legacy DJ now. Who have been in here a long time. So like me and like Aliquim and like Miss Stabby, we're sitting back here going, so what, are we dead? Like, is that what's going on? So I feel like we're getting to the point where we're shifting. And we've got some of the DJs that have been doing a lot of stuff in here, and they're kind of like hanging out, getting ready for their time. But then there's still a ton of new people that are looking to like, give it a shot, DJ, be a part of it. What is your outlook on that? And where are you standing with like checking out some new talent in here?
I mean, I think I mentioned this a long time ago, and this community is ever growing, and it will continue to grow until, I don't know, VRChat doesn't exist anymore, or until we can no longer perform. And not even including our scene, the platform itself will continue to grow with ever in, ever increasing demand for easily accessible hardware to get into VR. And I mean, a couple of years ago, what it was the GPU shortage that limited a lot of people to even experience our scene. But what did people do? They made ways to get around that so that people can still perform and to people with quests. And that was only possible via like what was it? VRCDN making it a way so that they can hear the music and see the visuals, and people being able to make the prefabs and the scripts and all that so that it works on quests in quest worlds. And now we're kind of seeing a little bit of a RAM shortage, so that's going to kind of affect things, at least trying to get, past the barrier to entry. But I mean, if you already own a Quest 2, or if you get one, or you get a Quest Pro or whatever, there will be ways to experience what we have. So therefore, we will get more and more people to eventually find the scene. And finding the scene's never been easier. I mean, back in the day, you had to know somebody that knew somebody about how where to find it at what time and such and such. Now it's like you join one Discord server, or you just find a VRC Party Hub, or you find out about VRCTL, and we have groups now. Like you look above someone's head, or you need to look in their groups, and you say, "Oh, what's this? What's this group? Is this something about live music or whatever?" It's easier now than it ever has been. So the scene will be ever growing, and I love to see new talent and new ways people express themselves, because that's all we're doing here is just expressing ourselves. And I mean, it's always good. And I mean, if we're considering some of these people as legacy DJs, I think my time's up. I think I'm now a legacy DJ.
Awesome.
Maybe.
You gotta be at least on one interview or one podcast to be considered a legacy DJ. We're gonna put the
I
rule in.
mean, maybe. I don't know about that. I think, I mean, I've been here for what, 4 years now. I mean, I've known all the OGs. Like, I mean, I'll mention a few names. Like, I mean, does people even remember Tachyon, 10XX? Uh, like, what are we talking about here? Like, Noir, my best friend. Like they're the OG of the OGs. Like I think Obake is considered. You could consider a legacy, but I don't think that really matters necessarily. I think it's just um, some people step away, especially after the whole pandemic. Less people had more time to engage with this community and be available to perform every other week or so, like that. Like, I mean, Chevette is a good example. Like, just someone who just more focused on taking care of IRL stuff, but still to this day still plays and is still I see on good lineups, and they're a great DJ. And there's many other examples. There's just someone that came to mind.
So, like within those 4 years too, and I feel like there will be times. I know next year, at least
Mhm.
maybe the next couple of months, people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, it has actually been that long." But again, you're constantly still doing stuff in VR, and you're constantly DJing, and you're constantly kind of being a part of the community. Is is this where you think that you were going to be at within the 4 years?
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't know where I was gonna be like early 2021. I mean, I just got out of the army. I was like figuring out what I was gonna do with my life, like in between jobs, especially with the pandemic. Like I had finding job was it was a nightmare. And it just kind of happened just randomly, and I'm thankful for it. Like I never thought I'd see myself being in the position that I am now, but I am more than grateful that I have made it here. And especially like I mean, from a young age I knew I wanted to do what I am doing now, and being able to live the dream I had early on is just it again, it's still crazy to me. But um yeah, I didn't think I'd be here, especially I didn't think I'd find it in VR chat.
I know we're gonna get a dive into a lot of your first couple of everythings in VR because one of those funny things about DJing in here is we get a lot of fans, we get a lot of people that are interested in the music that you play and perform. But as we've said before, once you're done performing on stage, you either okay, I have to go to my next event, or okay, I need to go eat dinner. I need to go, go to the restroom, or go to bed. People need to sleep
Yeah.
or hydrate or something like that. So we never really get an opportunity to meet the people that are on here constantly performing and helping build the community just the way that they've designed it to want to be. So it's really nice to be able to showcase that while we talk a little bit about your upcomings and stuff like that. But I do want to take a quick moment, as you were just saying recently, that you didn't really think that you were going to be where you are right now, and that was ShelterCon this past couple of months.
Mhm.
You on that lineup, a lot of people had been talking about a lot of great things, and they were getting really amped and excited for your performance. So break that down, like the idea of you being able to perform on this big stage in front of all of your peers and maybe potential like promoters and people that you may not know that are in the crowd that you couldn't see, but at the same time too, how massive an event that Tony actually gets to put on, featuring a lot of different people. Talk to us about how that experience was for you, especially for people like me that didn't get a chance to go.
It was a surreal experience, honestly. Like I was going regardless if I was gonna play or not. That's just how Tony does it. You kind of just apply and hope and pray that you potentially make it on the main lineup. And if you don't make the main lineup, there's always open decks. Even if you don't make it to the open decks or the official open decks, there's going to be open decks after the open decks and open decks after the main event. Like you will get your chance to play in front of your friends and just have a good time. So that's what I was looking forward to. Not just that, but just to be able to see all the friends
So what
that
was
were
what was
going.
sleep like with that? Because again, if everyone's constantly performing, did people genuinely sleep? Did they just bunk up? What?
Oh man, I mean, a lot of late nights from what I experienced and from what I heard. There was a lot of late nights, especially I think the pre-party, especially like we were there till like almost 2 a.m. just having a good time. Some people were playing, but like yeah, it's just a lot of late nights. A lot of friends just having a good time. That's pretty much a good way to sum it up.
So would you find that playing ShelterCon was kind of the highlight of your career, or I would assume it was at least the highlight of the year compared to some of the other things
Mhm.
that could have had happened this year?
Oh yeah, like especially like as of recent, yes, I'd say it's most certainly the highlight of my entire career. Like, I didn't think I'd be able to play for a sold out show this early on. Like, I knew I had at least like maybe a few more years of producing and releasing music and promoting my music before I would even get the chance to play for something as big as ShelterCon 7 was, especially. And it was just a surreal thought when I got, you know, hit up by Tony like, "Hey, we want you to play main stage." I didn't believe it for like a few seconds, and it was like, "Oh yeah, this is happening." And then, you know, getting talking with him every so often leading up to ShelterCon, it's like, "Oh yeah, we're already halfway through the tickets." The first like week it was announced, it was already halfway through the tickets, and then like a few months out, it's like, "Oh yeah, we're like 85% sold out." And then a few weeks before sold out, I was losing my mind.
So you've been to some other ShelterCons before, because obviously you've been a part of this community for quite some time. I would assume that you went to some other ShelterCons.
No, actually, this was my first ever ShelterCon that I was able to attend. I wanted to attend, I think the one before, if not the one before that. It's just, financial reasons, of course. I had a flight and a hotel, all that's expensive. So this was my first one, and it was a crazy first one.
And not to completely mention, like, listen, there is a trust factor amongst friends in here, and I'm sure there's a point in time where you're just like, oh, we'll have snacks over at the Airbnb, and then you're just like, well, do I trust people to like not try to wake me up in the middle of the night or poke the bear or You know, like if you wake up, do you wake up too early compared to other people, and are they going to complain about that? And that's how I assume that ShelterCon kind of happens, where you do have a bunch of your peers and people that you've partied with in here, but it's just a matter of like there's still a bunch of people that are still kind of nervous about performing or even just coming by to say hi to us. I mean, TwitchCon's almost something as similar, but even comparable to, you know, and I kind of just lost my train of thought just a little bit based on that idea. So performing for a sold out show, and now that you kind of have that on your resume, we will kind of talk a little bit about more IRL things that you have done in the Denver area. But for this to finally be put on your resume, what does that speak for you for your future in IRL performing? Are you kind of continuously looking to climb the ladder? Are you looking to just try to showcase to perform in the area? What's going on?
I mean, I would love to travel. I would love to play wherever I can. That's kind of just where I'm at. It could be sold out. It could be smaller than that. It could be thousands. It could be hundreds. It could be 80, like we have here. As long as the vibes are awesome, that's what I'm there for. And people are wanting to hear what I have to present. That's just kind of the goal. It's been the goal since I kind of started this. I'm not really chasing big fame. It'd be cool for sure. And more people to hear what I have to say and like to express. But really, I don't know where I'll go. I want to perform more IRL, that's for sure. I mean, the dream for me is to, support some of the artists I look up to. Like that would be a dream come true for me. Is just support the artists I look up to, and I already got to kind of do that already with Leotrix. Like getting to support Leotrix was cool. Like it was amazing. But being on ShelterCon was like already amazing, and then getting to support Leotrix was like it was cloud nine, because I got into Leotrix very early on when discovering dubstep. Like Leotrix, big name. No one does it like he does. He has such a unique sound, and I swear every Australian that comes out of Australia with bass music is second to none. Like there's Flume, Leotrix, Murata, even some of my friends who make bass music, like Alice Forever, formerly known as Near, um, and some others I can't think of right off the top of my head, but uh, I swear that entire region for making bass music is insane. But like, yeah, like ShelterCon was amazing, and like I want more of that for sure. But whenever it happens for me. I'm kind of networking with some people who have connections here in Denver. So whenever those, kind of happen, I want them to happen. But um, I definitely want to perform when I have more music under like able to present, so that it's not just music from other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just me personally. I it's just me as my standard. I want to have some of my own music to play.
And hearing about that too is enlightening, because you have a sense of reality, you have a sense of realism, and throughout this
Mhm.
entire thing, and there is such a great term, fantasy. I mean, virtual reality, there's a lot of fantasy involved anyway, outside of the regular
Mhm.
standard definition of fantasy, whether or not you look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, I can relate with this character that I'm in, compared to the people that you're either role playing with or hanging out with, or the connections that you're creating. But there is a sort of fantasy in what we do in here as well. And while it's great to chase dreams, it's great to like be able to present yourself in a business manner and a professional manner. I think you've got your head screwed on very well. Not tightly, not over tight, not too loose. And you have an idea of like, okay, you've been able to get on a really big stage in front of a lot of your peers, a lot of the people that are there to support you. But at the same time, it's like getting your first $1 million check. What do you do with it? Do you sit on it? Do you admire it? Do you frame it? Do you spend it all?
Mhm.
Um, it's going to be kind of a complicated question, but how do you think that DJs in here should remain real with the form of their reality, and not
Mhm.
fantasize about what we do in here? Or is it okay to fantasize just a little bit?
I think it's okay to dream a little. Like, I mean, when I first discovered electronic music, I knew I was like, this is my calling. This is something I want to do. I want to be up on that stage and showcase something that I'm proud of and, just feed off that energy. And that was a big dream for me. Like, I came from a small town here in Colorado where it's like there's no clubs. Like, that was my small town. No clubs. The nearest club was, of course, Denver, and that was like almost a 2-hour drive for me. And of course, I was a young kid at the time, so I couldn't drive myself. So I kind of missed out on that growing up. And it's just something I always kept in the back of my head of like, this is something I'm gonna hold on to, and if I can do it, I'm going to do it. And when you're starting out, you got to understand that, like, either you come out and you blow up, or you come out and you have to work hard at it to build a following and build a reputation for yourself, that you are worth your weight with what you're presenting. You're not just, playing tracks front to back constantly. You're not a glorified Spotify playlist. And I mean, if that's what you like to do, that's what you like to do. No offense to it. Like, I'll play a couple tracks front to back myself. That's just because the tracks are so good. I gotta hear them all the way through. But you know, it's less about marketing yourself and more about just presenting something that's good and being genuine, especially, and being realistic, of course. Like, I didn't think to myself 2 years ago or even a year ago, less than that I was going to play a sold out show, even for ShelterCon. Like, I didn't even think to myself I was going to play at ShelterCon when I submitted my application. I hoped and prayed that I was going to make it, but if I wasn't, then I wasn't, and I was okay with that. There's being real with yourself and understanding that um it comes with hard work and dedication for the passion that you have for this hobby that we have, which is being a DJ, being a performer, producer, whatever. It takes work, it takes time, but most importantly, I think it does take a lot of genuine passion and just being real. So that's kind of just my 2 cents on that.
Especially in here and going into 2026, we've been talking about it for literally the past 2 months. I don't want to be sitting here like like old dad mode, shaking my finger, being like, the new kids, they're getting a new console under their tree, or they're getting a new PC, or again, we're going to be fighting over who has the latest technology of headsets and full body wear and stuff like that, and we're going to probably see a lot of that happening in here. But just as the growth of the VTuber, where people will spend a lot of money to kind of get all of the parts to run with it, you'll get a lot of new DJs that will get a lot of new equipment, thinking that automatically it's going to do what it does. And we have to continue to guide them, give them good
Mhm.
ideas, give them opportunities to perform. Well, excuse me. But we have to we have to continue to be real with them over the fact that,
Mhm.
like, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. And we're not saying within a year. You'll get good in a year. I don't think you'll be
Mhm.
I don't think you'll be your greatest self within the first year. And even just learning about how you're producing and learning about all of the things that you have been doing, especially in here for the past 4 years, it'll be even more interesting to learn about how you even got into VR as well. And now that you kind of mentioned it, I was a little curious to say, what was Baby SNAX listening to, the first electronic record that Baby SNAX was listening to get you interested into music?
So, like, like I said, the first hint was definitely the Blade movie. Hearing that, like, that scene, like, stuck with me all throughout my childhood. Like, it was just, that was like my first taste of it. I just didn't know what it was. YouTube was still like barely growing. I mean, I was too young for when YouTube was kind of a thing, really. But I had a cousin. Um, oh, I hung out with him every so often, but like, he showed me some electronic music. It was, I think, just some like progressive house, or maybe some I can't even remember. Maybe it's trance. I think it was trance actually. Now that I think about it, but he showed me some trance, and he was like, "Yeah, this is like this is and that," and he gave me like an old mixer, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like the start of like what I want to do. This is awesome." And then I went on. This was more. I was like more fluent with the internet, so I found some. I found, of course, I found this was like 2012, 2013. I found the Skrillex "Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites" EP, and that was like eye opening for me. I was like, "This is sick. This is like everything." And then on from that, I
Was it not
found
confusing? I felt like everyone that listened to it were trying to understand if they've enjoyed
mhm,
it or not because of all like the screeching tones and the loud up and
mhm.
downs and the growls and
Oh yeah, I mean I enjoyed it. Like it was something new for me. Like I grew up on like old like rock bands. Like my dad's like a huge hip rock nerd, a little bit of metal, but like nothing crazy at the time. So like that's what I grew up on. And of course hip hop, like that's just what I grew up on. But finding electronic music, it was new to me, and that EP was different. It was new. It was like a breath of fresh air for me. So, and it just like inspired me to go find more of that. And what I found was like, of course, Skrillex and Deadmau5 were good friends. So YouTube recommended me, I think it was his 4x4 equals 12. Yeah, that album. So then I fell in love with that album. I found Strobe, Ghost and stuff. And then got more and more into it with like Porter Robinson's Spitfire EP. I found Drink the Sea album by the Glitch Mob. That one I fell in love with, and I still listen to this day. I don't think there's much of a better album besides like I mean there's so many good ones out there, but that one just means a lot to me, honestly. And then I found some other small artists like Knife Party and more stuff like that. And as I just grew up, I just kept finding more and more like Excision, Downlink, a couple of other stuff like that. But yeah, like that's what I was listening to back then. But it was a lot of just a lot of different music. And if my hip will play nice, yeah, that's pretty much it.
kind of just make it seem like you're sitting on one of those exercise balls, the yoga balls. You're just constantly just going back
Yeah,
and forth, wiggle around,
going
and
all over the
yeah, we
place,
don't know what
man.
you're doing. You feel uncomfortable. I mean, we got some wooden seats for the holidays, but if you just try to get yourself comfortable. But understanding genres too in here is super important, and we'll touch base on it in a little bit. But before we get into the
Mhm,
VR stuff, you were explaining to me earlier on that like you are now kind of interested in bass music and dubstep right now, but you've kind of
mhm.
tackled all sorts of different genres. Do you find it that like your flavor changes frequently or within like a couple of years? Like you kind of want to sit in it and like kind of marinate in it while you're learning.
Mhm. Um, I am a creature of loving just about everything. I always explain to people it's a lot easier to list off the genres I don't like versus the ones I do like. And that's just me personally. But I think as I have grown and over the years I've just experimented with other things that inspired me. I just kind of landed with it just because it's the sound I love the most. It expresses that part of me that I feel like is just needs to be said sometimes. And when I feel like it's not doing it for me, I like to throw in other stuff, and that's where I think it's a good experience to mix genres that either you don't know or aren't really accustomed to as like a growing DJ. Just because you start to understand the genre, you get to maybe appreciate it more and find the things that you do like, and maybe you'll throw it into your future sets and stuff like that. But for me specifically, I did it just because I wanted to learn it, and then I took what I learned from those genres and incorporated it into my main sets so that I could just know more technically and be able to come up with fresh ideas either on the spot or while I'm just crafting a set for something that I want to present something special. And I don't think I could have done that without having to have learned like Riddim early on, learning techno, playing out experimental stuff, playing out some of the more Latin inspired genres and playing house or bass house, stuff like that. So it all kind of meshes together. Each skill, because they're all in different time signatures, you kind of start to learn, this is how I can mix this in, or this is how this song is structured, so I can mix this in here, or I can do this with this song, like double it and stuff like that. And so it kind of just gives you new ideas, and that's why I like to do it. And then I just kind of landed on dubstep and bass in general because I don't know, I'm inspired by EPROM and G Jones and a couple other artists, a little unknown artists, like I wouldn't say unknown. Kafari is pretty well known, kind of. Um, and like Flume and stuff, and Little Snake, like his experimental stuff is just like off the wall sound design. Like if you're a sound design nerd, like that's your stuff. And then like the Glitch Mob's new stuff from Control Out Reality, and then Lord Genmu, like he's a newer artist, but then like ISO with this trap, and like his take on trap is just it's some of my favorite sounds, and it's kind of what I vibe with. It's just more like a little bit of hip hoppy, but more trappy in the sense of it's still bass music, but then there's like the experimental new rave stuff. It's more acidy, but it's also like you got the break beats, it's a little bit of breakcore, a little bit of jungle. Like it's a bunch of everything, but it's all still under this umbrella of bass music, and I think that's what I just like about it.
We're having a little off topic in the chat about sex trance. Kind of want
Sex trance.
Yeah, want your opinion on sex trance.
Oh, yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that. I am friends with what is it? I can't remember their name off the top of my head. They make sex trance, and I discovered that shortly after discovering Daria Core and breakcore it's not, I mean, it is breakcore, but it's also like ambient jungle, I guess is what it's technically called now. Artists like Ill Will, um and some others like Sewer Slut, or formerly known as Sewer Slut. I can't remember what their alias is now, but that sort of genre. And then, of course, the OG stuff like Venetian Snares and some other crazy artists like Machine Girl. And then I found Sex Trance because of Dire Core, because it's just like this new, I don't even want to call it like Gen Z genre, but it's like it's just so like ADHD inspired, like Dire Core is. It's like this blend of different genres all into one that just makes it something different. And it's like, I mean, it's still trance, but it's something different. So I think they just coined it. It's like that it's like SoundCloud genre. Sometimes people just coin a certain style of a take on an already existing style, and they just called it sex trance.
Understanding different, I kind of, I don't know if it was even at the beginning of this year when everything was blank core, something core, adding core. And then I started to kind of add that to my vocabulary when trying to tell people about different stylings of music. And music again gets molded and torn apart and mutilated and manipulated and fluctuated, and they might as well just call it elated, I guess. Music is elated, but it something's gonna stick. These are the innovators of the new style, really. I will say again, it's not the Rob Roman show, but I can't begin to tell you how much I'm getting more and more infuriated with tech house, just because everybody is starting to learn about tech house, and I play tech house and I enjoy it, but it's not very fun when everybody likes it too. Like everybody's feeding into it, and all the frat bros are at the club, and they're just like, "Oh man, I love this," and then everybody else loves this too. It's like the new form of disco. But being able to tear all this stuff apart and create something brand new. I'm not saying because it's trigger worthy to call it sex trance that people in VR chat are going to take that and go, I know one of those words, and then just kind of go off of it. But at the same time, it's kind of inviting to explore something new and try to tear it up and enjoy it. I want to throw you into the fire real quick, because I've been sitting here trying to figure out the top 3 hated genres of SNAX that you said that you I will only give you 3 unless you want to give us 5 or something, but you said that there are some genres you just do not like.
Yeah, there are certainly genres I do not like. I just will not listen to them. I just cannot. And whatever comes on, I'm just like, please. I'd rather listen to silence. And I'm someone who like needs something like stimming in my ears so that I feel sane. That's just my ADHD brain. But if I had to pick like a certain genre, it's or a couple genres, it'd be what is it? I think it's called stadium country as my number one hated like genre. Like
Like a Garth
I cannot.
Brooks kind of like stadium country.
Sure. I don't even know the artist. I don't even care to learn who the artists are. I just know what it sounds like. But like, here's the thing: I like old country. I like standard country, like stuff from like the early '90s, '70s, '80s. Like I like that stuff. That stuff's like cool to listen to. Like it's okay with me. Like it's not my it's not my cup of tea, but I will still listen to it, and it's something I can appreciate as a form of art. Stadium country, on the other hand, I fucking hate, and I will not listen to it. And if it's played anywhere near me, I will start to lose my mind. That's just where it's like number one. Like nothing can top that genre. Like I got a cold beer, dirt road,
Yeah, because
pickup
if
truck.
you find
Yeah.
at least one person wearing their Daisy Dukes with a truck and a dog and a beer in the back roads, you'll find a whole community of them following just behind too. Because
Mhm.
someone's got to drink the beers.
Yeah, but it's like with some of the experiences I've had, like I know actual like cowboys, actual ranch hands. Like I know those dudes. Like I've grown up with some of them too. Like I know them, and it's like some of these people that make this music and the people that enjoy it aren't cowboys. They aren't ranch hands. They have never touched anything to do with farm life, and I haven't done that much either in my life. But I'm pretty sure I've touched more with ranch. I've done more ranch hand work in my life than they have, and that's just what I find. It's more of these like people who live in the city and like the country lifestyle. And you could say the same thing about mumble rap and stuff like that. But I mean, potato, potato, tomato, tomato, whatever. It's I would rather listen to mumble rap and then I'd listen to that. And I do not hate mumble rap at all. I love hip hop. I love all of its subgenres, everything about it. Like Kendrick Lamar's the GOAT, me personally. But like, if I had to find some more genres I hate, I don't think I can stand electro swing either. Like, it's just there's nothing much I like about it, and pop is another one. Like, I just don't like pop. Like the stuff like top 100s, Billboard's artists. Like, I don't like it. Like the only thing is, I think I consider pop that I do listen to is like I'd have to say like maybe what is it? The Weekend. I mean, he's considered kind of pop, but he's more hip hop influenced. So I can still. I think that's probably why I like him out of all of them. And I think the only pop artist other than that I liked is probably Lady Gaga, but that's her older stuff. Like her older stuff was good. It's because it was different, it was new, and my mom liked it, so I grew up on that. So it's kind of like, of course, I'm gonna kind of like it. But yeah, stuff like that I just cannot stand.
It's also very nice too that we have. It's not really that we're setting up any barriers, but it's nice to know that there are communities that enjoy specific things. And you know what? It's okay to enjoy your communities. You know, the electro swing
Mhm.
people. It's nice. That's nice that they have a catalog for that. And I'm glad that people are making new electro swing stuff. Even for me, like I ended up performing in 2023 at a convention, and there was an artist on the billing that she just makes a bunch of electro swing stuff, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's really creative. I know I can't do that, but at the same time, like, kudos to you to be able to sit there and listen to that all day,
Mhm.
and be in that mentality of, back in the swinging 20s, or the swinging whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I mean, well, the same thing goes with the heavier stuff too. Is not everybody can get down with it, but not everybody has an ear
Mhm.
for it. So, um, I don't know. It's kind of fun to hear your quirks and some of the genres that you don't like. It's very rare that we get to actually ask the DJs what they dislike, and it's not even just a matter of people coming up to you and being like, "What do you mean you don't like arena country?" But at the same time, like, unless you want to have a heated argument where you just want to constantly fight, then
Mhm.
so be it. VRCDJLIVE, we're here with SNAX, and we're just kind of breaking down all of his favorites and non-favorites too. I mean, obviously, we got to know the non-favorites to the favorites, but let's dive
Mhm.
into it. VR chat. You've said that you've done a lot of different things. You were in the army for a little while, the military for a while, and then coming back. I would assume that you were a gamer. I mean, I don't know any
Mhm.
person that hadn't been in the military that wasn't a gamer, whether or not it was shooters or RPGs or something like that, or just learning everything about guns and stuff. But how did virtual reality come to play for you?
I mean, it came like a good population that we have now, or at least that kind of came in when I came in, which was like the infamous Knuckles video, like that just blew up, and I was like, "What is this? What is this thing? Like, this is interesting to me because I was already I've been gaming ever since I could hold a controller, like that's just who I am, but I think I discovered it late, like December 2017 is when I discovered it, and then 2018, like January is when I like no, it was like December when I fully got into it. And I just discovered it and kind of found a group of people that I made friends with, and that was my friend group for a while. I discovered a few new games off of it, like Osu, destroyed my wrist because of it, and that was like my obsession for a while. Like I just loved it, and that's where I actually found a bunch of other genres I've never even heard of, like the J core is I think is what it's called, and some other like metal stuff like Imperial Circus Dead Decadence. Like that's such a niche Japanese heavy metal band, but I found them, and there's just a bunch of other like cool genres of music in there that I loved, so I got to found it. It's more than just like, oh, here's an anime opening. There's a bunch of different like electro or electronic music and some other music in there that's really cool to listen to. And other than that, like after that, I kind of took a long break just because I had a deployment and then I had some other life stuff going on. And then from that same friend group, I saw that they got on VRChat, and I was like, dude, I haven't been on VRChat in like years. Like, what's going on in VRChat? Like that they're getting on. And so I got all like my OG Oculus set up, and I just jumped on and said hi, and that's kind of where I found my friend group that got me into like playing VRChat again. And that's kind of how I found this community as well, through them.
So what when it comes to, I mean, again, that style of coming into VR chat and understanding, there was a lot of role play, there were a lot of streamers, there were a lot of obviously, I feel like anybody that knew about the Knuckles wanted to come in to find the Knuckles.
Hmm.
And it's not like that right now, where it's like all you see are videos of like femboys and proximity chat, and then you have like a bunch of degenerates, and you watch that. I don't know a single soul that's like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if I go into VR chat, maybe I will run into them. And then once they run into them, it's a really bad scenario. With the Knuckles, they just were mildly annoying, but at the same time, I feel like everybody wanted to
Hmm.
try that. So at those times, there really were no like ravey things to do. There was no real music things to do, like compared to the live performances now, or VCAT, or any sort of
Hmm.
convention styling, or even Shelter at the time wasn't even a thing, or not even just a glimpse in your daddy's eye, as they would probably end up saying. So when you started to understand the scene in here, well, let me take it back a little bit, because I would only assume that you started doing producing before VR chat, or was it something that you learned to want to do a little bit later on?
um Honestly, I tried my hand at it very early on, when I was still in the army, when I had like a PC, and I was locked down in COVID, and I had like nothing really to do other than play Apex Legends all day with my friends. But like I was just like, man, maybe I should download FL Studio again and like try to relearn that, because I think I downloaded it a long time ago when I first got into like PC gaming. I just had no idea how to use it, and I just like couldn't figure it out. There weren't really good YouTube tutorials up at the time, and kudos to anyone that could make music from that time, like especially like the goats now. But I pretty much just continued producing again because a friend of mine named Azariah just like taught me how to use FL Studio, and I was like, okay, now I know how to do what I want to do now, and I understand the software. Now I can like turn the ideas into my head onto something, put it into something useful. And yeah, so I pretty much kind of really actually started producing just because I got into VR.
So you find that there was some inspiration in VR for that sort of thing? I mean, like, I think one of the beautiful things about this conversation is like I'm starting to learn how to produce myself. And I think that there's a lot of other DJs in here or other musicians or anybody that wants to kind of dive into it. There always seems to
Mhm.
be some sort of kind of like a motivator or a storyline that you want to create for a lot of people that want to create a song. It usually starts with song
Mhm.
lyrics, or maybe you were walking down the street and you saw a rubber duck in the road, covered in mud, and you're like, "Oh, this poor rubber duck! I got to write a song about it." Um, because you were saying that you started to, jot down some ideas. Was it based on things that you saw in virtual reality that sparked that, or did you kind of let your mind run wild on other fantasizing things that would work for a really good tune?
Um, I mean, I just kind of just started producing music just to produce music. I just had ideas in my head that came from like people I listened to at the time, and just kind of just wanted to try and learn. So I just kind of threw threw something to the wall and see what stuck. That's kind of just where it was at. Make something, put something in there, and then just kind of see if I'm happy with it. And if I'm not, then we'll just save it for later and we'll come back to it. That's kind of just, I mean, that's just producing in a nutshell. Like for me, I was just inspired by the music I was listening to, and VR was the catalyst that helped me be able to start producing music, and my friends that were able to help me along, like help me learn how to produce music in the software that enabled me to make music. That, I mean, without Azariah's help, I think it would have taken a lot longer, and I don't know if I would have gotten my EP done, because I didn't know FL Studio, and he basically mentored me in that, and without his help, it seemed fruitless for me. But we have a lot of passionate people in this community that, like, if you say, "Hey, I need help. Like, can you teach me how to do this, and this?" Most of the time, 90% of the time, they'll be like, "Yeah, sure. Let's figure out a date so that we can." I'll sit you down. I'll try to explain it to you. Now, if they're a good teacher or not, it's a different story. But still, take the free info where you can get it, because most people are going to monetize it and try to get basically empty your wallet for the knowledge that they have that you could easily learn from either a YouTube video or just by someone who's passionate about it and learned by themselves. And I think that's what's more unique about it, is that you learn and then you apply what you know, and then that makes your style. Because I remember I was watching a video about it was Les Claypool. I think it was like the bass guitarist from Primus. He was explaining that, oh, I was playing this song wrong for years, but that's like where you get your style from. It's like we're all just playing it wrong because we all taught ourselves, and we're just all playing the guitar wrong, and that's how we get our style. That's basically what comes from making music and producing electronic music. Is we some of us don't really know why the thing is doing the thing, but it does the thing, and it sounds good, so I'm gonna keep doing the thing, and I'm gonna refine it till it even sounds even better. And that's where you get your style. It's where a lot of people want to sound like Space Laces, want to sound like Skrillex, or want to sound like whatever the biggest artist is that has a good sound. It's just because they just have a way of doing things that may not be technically correct, but it gave them the sound that they were looking for, and that can be applied to literally any facet of like I mean, I do it in DJing, I do it in producing, I do it with graphic design. Like I couldn't explain to you what I'm doing in graphic design. I can kind of explain some of the basic things, but like how I get certain effects to happen, I don't know. I'm pressing filters and sliders. I'm moving sliders till I get the desired effect that I want. And the same thing can be happen with producing music, to be honest.
I feel like we need to take a moment to understand this idea too, because there have been a lot of people in our community that have been kind of taking a break from social media. I think
Hmm.
currently at the the landscape of even virtual reality applications. That's what I'll kind of go with this one. Is
Hmm.
a lot of people are throwing VR chat under the bus because of some very small decision making based on the staff and what they are doing in here. Obviously, they are hearing from the community if they've liked those things or not. But there are far other platforms out there that are kind of coming in saying, "Hey, we got the latest greatest something. This is cool. Do this, that, and the other thing." And I think people are constantly feeding into that and trying to understand. But what we need to do is take a couple steps back and say, "Listen, you don't want to ruin a good thing." I'm not saying that VR chat is the good thing. I think we've developed a good thing since the beginning of when we started to develop. Because just as you kind of just acknowledged now, for those people that are looking to produce, all it does take is some beeps and boops. And then sometimes, if you get lucky, you can turn some knobs and make those beeps and boops turns into wobs and wobs. We don't know. And then that could be your next big sound. But it all just takes time to kind of sit there and kind of mess with what you got. Same thing goes with world creation. Same thing goes with avatar creation. Same thing goes with content creation. Is that it's never fun out the box from somebody else's design. That you need to go in there and kind of give it its own little shine and own little effort. I will say as an asterisk, though, that there are a ton of people in this simulation that want to get that fame quick. They want those results quick. And they instantly believe that if they mimic somebody, they're already going to get some sort of quick because that's kind of a hot topic. You know how many people have changed up vanilla ice cream? Like vanilla ice cream itself is a staple. You can mix it with almost anything. But then you've got like pure vanilla, and then you got vanilla bean, and then you've got the country vanilla. And it's still kind of a vanilla flavor, but people are trying to reinvent it as if it's like the latest greatest something. Now, mind you, that's fine. Practice makes perfect. Obviously, not everything has to be perfect and original and creative. But we have to keep reminding ourselves about what we do in here. We have to come in here and say, hey, being a producer, you could produce. And it is a lonely road to walk down the path that you've made compared to a path that someone has paved before you. That's going to take a lot of time, but it's worth it in the end. If you remain real, you be able to explain what you're trying to create and ask the questions. That's the thing that I think a lot of people are just so timid about. They're so nervous about. Even with the DJing in here, I'm not saying that we have a gate up to not talk about these things in here, but it blows my mind because there's so many other concepts yet to be discovered, lest there have been some old concepts that had been discovered even before any of the major groups were in here to kind of do that sort of thing. And being able to, again, make content, which we're going to dive into as well, because it's a very important topic to talk about. But we got to get past the VR chat stuff first. To be able to explain the stuff in here and the reasoning behind it. And there is a reason why you should be able to create without prejudice of not doing it the right way.
Yeah, realistically, we have no idea what the hell we're doing sometimes. I think most of us are just like throwing stuff at a wall, seeing what sticks. And, you could just say the same thing about Shelter, same thing about Ghost Club, maybe in Rizumu, a couple of other places. But, it's just an idea. Like, I know Tony started Shelter as just a place that he could play, and then it's now evolved into this a sold out show. That's what it's evolved into. And Rizumu, pretty much the same story. I can't say the same for Ghost Club. I don't know much about Ghost Club, but it's kind of how a lot of places in here started, and a lot of creative started. It's just there's a hole, and I need to fill it because I know what can fill this hole. And you can take that as like, oh, people just want I want to have a big club. There are some places like that. I've seen it, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I know from experience when we started Wicked, it wasn't something that we knew was gonna pop off right away. It wasn't something that we were just like, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna be the next big club. We're gonna be bigger than this like this group over here. What we wanted to do was just provide another space that people can be a part of, and there was already a great space. We just wanted to add to it. That's kind of just what we do. And in terms of like worlds and stuff like that, like it's just ever improving. People are getting smarter. People are finding new ways to do different things. Like the latest innovation with light volumes. It's crazy to me. Like I've been waiting for real time lighting and a way to make volumetric lighting not kill people in game. Just like it come into fruition. Like I'm in close talks with this person named AC Chosen who runs DevHell, and the work that they do is astounding. They made the original Orion map, like the original Orion, like with the DMX lighting, the lighting and all, like everything. It was like that to me was crazy at the time, and it was like I haven't seen that, and but like now it's like it's becoming. I can see more and more places coming up with something new, like original, and pushing the boundaries and what's capable with like shaders and lighting and moving objects and stuff like that. Like AC Chosen is doing it crazy, and with the light volumes and what he's doing with lasers and stuff like that, because we still haven't seen properly simulated lasers that collide with people without running into huge performance issues. And that's our biggest hurdle, is making something that looks good but also performs well. So that's what I talking with a lot of people who make worlds and stuff like that. Like that's the biggest hurdle to climb right now.
So creating a club like Wicked, and I know you kind of just basically talked a little bit about it. We want to kind of dive into it. Did you find that you were motivated because of things like Rizumu? I would assume that when you were in here, you got to explore and experience a lot of the earlier clubs and kind of get a kind of an idea. We talk a little bit about the whole, like, should you put a pool table in a club? That's always an ongoing conversation. But at the same time, that's not going to motivate you whether or not you're going to have one in there. It may not.
Mhm.
I don't know. So talk to us a little bit about the inspirations. I know, again, like you said, AC Chosen and Club Orion, quite the staple. I know I use it literally almost every Saturday. We love it. The people that come in there love it. Um, so talk to us a little bit more about the club that you were putting together and what you were hoping to get out of it. Seeing that you did mention that you have quite a little bit of a hiatus on it right now.
Yeah. So Wicked kind of just started as this friend group. Like it was just me, Nithrock, OUTH Snow, and Mellow, and myself, and our other creatives like Valfroz and Mavis Beacon. We all came together at Club Orion, funny enough, where I was practicing DJing, and we were just like, yeah, let's make our own club, like so that because like we were already inspired by like Rizumu, 7D, DDVR, Loner, Shelter, like those were the staples at the time, and the Zenith Project, of course, I can never forget the Zenith Project. Like we were all inspired to make something and add to it. We just wanted to have our own space. I think was just our just like our main inspiration. We just wanted our own space, and we wanted to um just add to it and make something that we're happy with. And I think also part of it was to give a space for me to play. That wasn't my intention. That was just something I think Nithriok and OUTH Snow wanted, just like to give me a place to play whenever I didn't have a place to play. And also, of course, book the DJs at the time that we really enjoyed and wanted to hear in our own space. And we had a talented world creator, Valfroz, that was doing something different. We were working with trying to emulate what was already happening with Orion, but trying to take it our own way. So that's something we tried to work on. And as the years went on, we just kept trying to push the envelope further, come up with something new, and make something interesting that um, people just want to go to and enjoy and have a good time, and have our own friend group in a sense, and just enjoy it and build you just build on the project that we already stabled. And continue that mission statement of just kind of trying to push the boundary if we can, but also like just have our own space and enjoy it with others.
Now, were you also kind of finding that this club was also for a specific genre, for a specific community? I know we loosely kind of talked a little bit about it. It's still kind of a toss up on what many communities thrive for. There's a lot of communities that want to do open decks, or they want to continue to support Plur, or maybe even focus to a specific demographic, like obviously with the fur DJs. Their community is massive, but they tend not to go too far. They don't stray too far from their community, and like I think it was placeholder has got a really big place holder. So was there a specific genre focus? Were you looking to kind of not really recruit, but bring in some other people that share the same type of aesthetic for like your community or your thought processes?
It started out we just like booking whoever we thought like who we liked at the time, and then it kind of grew into this. We wanted to do something similar to what Rizumu Launchpad was doing, which is finding newer DJs that didn't know about the space and show them this is what we have, and this is like this is the world is your oyster essentially. After this, like, we're gonna try and get you wherever you want to play, find your niche. Like, this is like, I think I can't remember what we called it. But yeah, we had a whole event just for new DJs specifically, so that we could help add to what Rizumu was already doing, because one event isn't enough for what the growing community had at the time. So that was what we were trying to do. And then, I mean, we started bringing in artists like Ghost Data, Morris Black, Social Kid. I can't remember who else we were trying to bring in, but we brought in those artists just because. Um, well, I think Ghost Data was already in the community at the time, but the other artists, we were like, no one besides, I think, Shelter at the time. I can't remember specifically, but was bringing in artists from outside of our space into our space to show them, this is what we do here, and this is like there's a whole community here, and this is like what we have, and they all enjoyed it. They wanted to play again, and that was just cool to experience. So that's something we strive to continue doing, and that's pretty much all we tried to do.
So what ended up happening with your community then?
We all kind of just went our separate ways. Mello went to go focus on IRL stuff. Same with OUTH Snow, and Nithrock kind of just. I'm not really gonna touch on that, but it's just, he kind of went off and did his own thing, and I tried to keep it alive as much as possible with my partner at the time, or my current partner, Abby. We started our own stuff, kind of working from the base up, doing something new. Like, I tried doing this event called Project Escape. She was doing Cosmia, and I wanted to do some other stuff. But as time went on, it's like I can't do everything by myself. I was doing all the promotion, all the graphic design, booking all the DJs, running the event, or like running security, all that stuff. I was doing it all by myself, besides like a few people that were able to come and help me every so often. So it just became draining, and I had to make this decision of, do I continue this and force myself to the near brink of burnout, or do I shelve it, appreciate what we had, and then just kind of focus on myself and focus on my goals of wanting to make more music and push my craft further, and just focus on life, work on, because I was working a job a lot, and the hours weren't the best to run events like maybe twice a week. I can only run one once a week, or once, one event every other week is the best I could manage, but it's like it wasn't enough. So yeah, it's just being I was being realistic with myself, and it was a hard choice to make, but I don't regret it.
So I feel like the $1 million question, outside of just being stating the
Mhm.
obvious, but again, we have a lot of people that are wanting to join our communities in here. Maybe they've gotten to a point where we have talked about this where like you join in on a community, it may not be your cup of tea, or those people don't seem as inviting as you want them to be, and then that kind of secretly double-edged sword motivates you to be like, well, I'm going to make my own club and I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to just do this. But at the same time, you don't understand how much effort and time it takes to do a thing until you've done it. I feel like, and it's like the worst negative thing I could possibly talk about on this program is, you know, I give people 4 months, give or take. Usually I would say 6 months or maybe 3 months. 4 months is a perfect amount of time for you to test out if you're going to DJ or not. Because once you start to DJ and people take notice that you DJ and you're getting a little bit better, people will start knocking down your door and say, hey, I want you to perform. I want you to join my club. I want you to do this. I want you to perform literally like like three performances a night on a weekend, or you be busy. And then that leads to, more opportunities and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time too, like, the burnout happens so quick. So where I'm going with this is like, what is the real reality out of all of this? What is the takeaway for the new people that are hearing this information? Because you could talk about this until you're blue in the face and say, you know, it's not a matter of you not succeeding. There are clubs that succeed. There's a lot of people that try and hopes that things are going to work out, but you do learn from failure. So give us a little bit more of an eye-opening idea for the new people that want to test the theory that maybe they're good enough to try it. Maybe they'll succeed, but there's a potentiality that it'll fail.
Right. I think I mean, this applies to literally everything. Just be okay with failure. Be okay with making mistakes. Like when I came into this, even when I first started DJing, I started on mouse and keyboard, and don't think you need a $2,500 computer or whatever, or you need the brand new headset with full body tracking just to be able to put on a good performance. I started on mouse and keyboard using Virtual DJ, half-bodied. Sometimes I was in desktop because it's sometimes how it went out, but that's how I started. And then from there, I went and bought my first controller. It was a DDJ 200. It was like $100 controller, but it was shitty, but it did the job. It did what I needed it to do. And I used that for about a year and some change. I actually used it for a long time. I used it until I was gifted it from Mo. I was gifted a FLX6 from Mo, so I was able to use that for a long time. But understand that the limitations that you think are there either are all in your head or don't exist at all. And it's just about approaching some people and getting some more information will help you. But also, if you come in expecting to play like an event right away, isn't going to happen. I mean, you might be able to play for like somewhere. You might play somewhere at some open decks. Like there's a lot of places that will do open decks, and you'd be like, "Hey, Did you mind letting me play?" And they may say yes, and they may say no. Be okay with some people denying you. Things have happened where some new faces. Some people get uneasy around new faces, and that's okay. But like, just be genuine. Be a genuine person, and people will naturally start associating with you and be your friend and stuff like that. And if you're coming in solo, it's going to be a lot harder. But just be a genuine person and be for the music. That's what we're all here for. We're here for the music, and if you're not here for the music, then we're gonna sniff it out right away and probably just not associate with you. If you're here for fame or something like that, like I mean, fame in a micro sense, in a very micro genre as it is, or micro community as it is, like we're in the VR music space in a VR game, whereas the electronic music scene is already small in comparison to the broader music industry. So just like can take that into consideration and understand that if you're here for fame, you're in the wrong space. But if you're here to present something and express yourself and just enjoy and have a good time, then you'll feel at home.
Dude, not even just thinking about it out loud too, but like I would take rejection in virtual reality 10 over getting rejection IRL with like a much higher noted DJ or producer who dislikes
Mhm.
me for some particular reason, because they've got a lot more credibility and a much larger fan base that legit I wouldn't want to say that dead mouse, you know, I don't want to be like he's the one that's
Mhm.
going to tell you to go, you know, eat dirt or whatever, and then he tells his
Mhm.
community that, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna follow this guy, and no, screw that guy," and you know. But at least with
Mhm.
virtual reality in here, we have such a small village. So like within our small village, even though we are mighty, having that rejection and having that negative experience, you know, take it. You know, take that experience and learn from it, and be okay
Mhm.
with that, and don't think that it's the end of the world, because maybe it might not be the path for you. You could be helping out some other ways, and there's other means for you to produce and kind of get into that idea. Of course, it's VRC DJ Live. We're here with Snacks, and you know, we're just kind of opening up all sorts of stuff here that I feel like is super important for all of us to kind of take note on.
Mhm.
Remaining humble is important, and kind of understanding your role and being available. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Not to mix up the bag here a little bit, but I actually had a moment today where I moderate for another channel, and there had been a scenario where the community was like, "Oh, I feel uncomfortable talking to the moderators," and I'm just like, "Well, have you asked the moderators? Hey,
Mhm.
we could sit and have something civil and be okay with that and open it up to have a decent conversation as opposed to you being upset." And we'll try to figure out a good solution for you. But even in the fact that, like, you know, again with Wicked, like you were saying, may not be
Mhm.
what you were looking for. It was good experience. It was good. It was a way for you to learn, as well as, you know, continue to level up and upgrade your skills as being a producer, performer, even trying to figure out IRL stuff, which I kind of
Mhm.
want to lead a little bit into Grief Seed with Noir.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, Grief Seed is a very interesting project because it is something that it's so it started on a whim. It started just kind of out of the blue, and the first dates back to when Wicked and Zenith did a collab together, and it was when Noir and I were I just kind of like threw my shot in the dark because I looked up to Noir as like the person that is like that inspires me in this scene. Like they're the person that inspired me. Like with Straz, like I remember when I first got in and like I was trying to figure out like when I wanted like how to DJ, where to start, and just that and the third. And I was nervous and I was anxious. I'm like, no one's gonna want to hear me. No one's gonna give me a shot. And I was expressing this to Wogi and Tachyon, and they were like, whoa, slow down. Go and watch Straz's video and then come back. And I was like, okay. So I went and watched Straz's video on, interviewing all the clubs like Resumu, Loner, Shelter, and Zenith Project. And when it got to Noir talking about the Zenith Project, I was like, that's like, that's my MO of when she said like pushing the boundaries of like almost every facet, and especially with like genre, like I try to do that as much as possible. Like that's what I like to do is push the envelope and like just blow people's minds, but also like help like make things a reality. And so I was always inspired by them, and then I was kind of shot my shot in the dark when we had that collab. I was like, hey, we should do it back to back, and they were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And I was like, hell yeah. So that's where it kind of initially started, and we became best friends, and we sort of just officially made the project I think a couple of years ago when Mend Your Mind first, not the during the second Mend Your Mind festival, and we were just like, yeah, we're gonna make like Grief Seed. This is us. So it's a rhythm, tear out, experimental, and a bunch of other genres whenever we feel like it sort of group. And we kind of just base our themes off of, I mean, we try to tell a story every single time we play a set. like it's just an audio storytelling. It's what Nora and I both do with our own personal sets. We like to do audio storytelling and sort of plant emotions into the set and see, how people react to it and if they can understand what we're trying to say. And I'm not going to go into what we're trying to say all the time because sometimes we don't even know what we're saying. We're just putting our emotions into it so that someone can feel something and connect with what we're doing.
Yeah, but
So it's
that
kind of like,
sounds funny though too. Like you'll have a
mhm,
thing and you'll just be like, "What does that mean to you?" And then they tell you back, and you go, "Yes,
mhm.
sure." And then that makes other people happy. But at the same time, you're like, "Was that the idea? Is that what we were going with?" Yeah,
Yeah, I'm always been of the MO that like everything that I do is up for interpretation. Everything about my brand, I like to say, is up for interpretation, like the name itself, the logo that I have created for this brand, the logo we made for Grief Seed, and my sets that I do are just up for their own interpretation. And it's the feeling that you get from, what you hear, what you see, and what we do is more important than like what we're trying, like my meaning behind it, because my meaning behind my own alias is a lot different than what someone can probably spout back to me. But if it's their interpretation, it means just the same. Like that's what my logo is, like why it's made the way it is. That you can barely read the damn thing, but it's the feeling of emotion that you get when you look at it, and that's what I like about it the most, and that's what we try to do with Grief Seed as well. So yeah, it's kind of just like, it's up to everyone owns interpretation.
How important do you think it is for the VRChat DJ community to start looking into B2Bs or duo projects or finding ways
Mhm.
to integrate works with other people?
Um, I mean, if you're both creatives and you both love the same thing, or like you have an idea and you both kind of like want to do something, I'd say go for it. There is no rules that say that you can't do it. Like we're not the only duo project in this scene. There's the one with Synthesizer and Giga Strawberry. I think it's called Claymore or something. I'm gonna feel so mad if I got the name wrong, but if I remember correctly, they have their own duo project, and then we started another duo, or not duo. I started another sort of collective called the Blood Omen Project, or the Blood Omen Group, and I was under my partner's sort of creation, and there's just a bunch of us collectively playing roughly the same music. But I think if, like, you and your friend want to do something interesting, you both play relatively same genres, or you want to present something new, definitely go for it. Like we like you don't have to even go ham on the name or make your own name or whatever. Like it's just all art preference at the end of the day. I've seen many back to backs. Like I've been a part of different back to backs. It's always a fun time, like because you're just kind of going off each other's vibes, and that's what's cool about back to backs. Like you're just going off of each other, feeding off the other person's energy, and just trying to match them and maybe one up them a little bit, and it's like try to up the tempo in a sense.
It's so tricky, especially in our community, because it just seems like there's so many avenues to do so many things, and there's lots of tastes and there's lots of energies and lots of
Mhm.
ways to identify how you want to handle it. And one of the mighty questions that I end up getting repeatedly, especially for me as a growing DJ or an artist or whatever, is where I want to go at the end of it all. Everyone
Mhm.
believes that the end all is like having a festival set, or I know for top 40 EDM DJs and like house DJs, you're gonna want a residency. You're gonna want to go perform
Mhm.
in Miami or in Las Vegas or somewhere. Or in the case of who was it? Was it Tiesto who ended up performing on top of the pyramids or something like that? Recently, he had this like festival thing. He's like, I'm going to be the first to
Oh,
DJ on top of the pyramids.
I mean, It could have been Tiesto. I think I did see something about that. I just don't remember who the artist was. But I
I mean,
mean,
yeah, he's got
yeah, if
enough
you're the
money,
first
he
to
could
do it, you'd
try
be the
it.
first to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. But like that's the thing too, is like in here, I feel like everybody has that opportunity to just come in and try something new and maybe something will stick. I'll even say it too. There was a lot of B2B playback at Four Seasons in the Netherlands the past couple months.
Mhm.
And I would have never been able to see these people working hand to hand with different flavors and different sounds. And maybe it is a cup of tea for somebody, and maybe it will stick, and maybe they will, generate something much larger down the road. And now's the time to kind of do that in here because you never really know
Mhm.
who's. I'm not going to say you're never going to know who's going to blow up, but at the same time, like, it's nice to know that you have people, you have colleagues that will want to introduce another concept to enlighten you as a musical artist. Speaking about enlightening, I want to take a little bit of time because
Mhm.
we are kind of coming up towards the end of the show. I wanted to talk briefly about your passions for the new year. I wanted to talk about
Mhm.
how you want to start this new YouTube series about identifying how it is to be a performer, especially in the virtual reality scene, what people should start working on currently as far as like practice wise, building a brand. Talk to me about all of your
Mhm.
hopes and dreams and aspirations for that, because it does seem like you have a lot of different things that you want to cover, especially for the new kids that are coming in 2026.
Oh yeah, like this all kind of just stemmed from like I just like helping people, like inspire. Like I live by the statement of live to inspire, or excuse me, God damn my throat. But live to inspire, inspire, to live essentially. Like I am inspired by many of my friends here, and I am inspired by the people I listen to, and I try to inspire as many people as I can to go and chase their dreams or make their dreams a reality or do something they never thought they could. Like I'm inspired by Terrell's every day. Like Terrell's like even though he has this chronic disability that most people would lose hope, he's just here. He's doing the best he can. He's giving back as much as he can, and I'm inspired by him every single day. I'm inspired by some of my other friends that are just, I think, better performers than I am, and I'm like, I got to keep pushing myself, and I just want to give back as much as I can because like some of the kindness that's been shown to me, I feel like I need to give back just a little bit, and especially from our late friend CyberOpsec, one of the nicest people I honestly have ever met in this entire space. Like, was so nice to me, so kind. Like they were the most inviting person ever, and I feel like without them, there's a hole left, and it saddens me to this day. But their passing, of course, just inspires me to be a better person and help those who need it the most. And that's what I kind of want to accomplish with these sort of tutorial videos. In a sense, it's like I'm not necessarily wanting to teach people how to like do the more technical things because I mean you can go look up a YouTube tutorial. There's a bunch of them nowadays. Like I think I learned a lot of the technical stuff from YouTube tutorials anyways. What I want to cover is more on the theory aspect, and it's less about your technical skills and more about like training your ear and looking like how to set the tone, how to understand like the tone of your sets and stuff like that. And then also kind of go over showing people that you can do graphic design because of like I've seen so many AI art posters. It's like I started a long time ago, and I thought they were the good stuff, and it was not good stuff. And I was like, okay, I can just keep improving. I can keep if I just keep at it, I will get better. Over time, I have gotten better, and there's people who are like, dude, you make crazy stuff. I'm like, it's all right compared to some of my friends like Catmel and Silk and a bunch of other people that I know that make cool graphic design pieces. I'm just like I feel less, but like it's imposter syndrome. If you're a creative, you're an artist, you're going to have imposter syndrome, and how to cope with that is to each their own. Everyone finds their own ways how to deal with it. But once you start to overcome that and just tell that little voice in the back of your head that you're not good enough, then once you tell it to shut up, you'll start improving a lot faster, and that's one of the hills you have to climb, especially early on. But when I come into this next year, I hopefully want to get those out as soon as possible because more people need to. I think some people want to hear what I have to say, at least in terms of like helping them, and I want to help people either kill those doubts in their mind or learn and be inspired to go out and try DJing or try graphic design, what have you. Because if it wasn't for a lot of these amazing people I met in the scene that inspired me and told me that yes you can, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have played ShelterCon. I wouldn't have played Shelter. I wouldn't have played for all these amazing people and helped inspire others to push themselves to be better or push themselves to actually learn to DJ. Like most recently, I've helping just my friend do graphic design stuff. Like I am critical of like what they showed me early on. It's like, hey, this is what you can do. You can do this, that, and the third. And I showed them some of the artists that I look up to and am inspired by, and it's helped them be inspired and find their own style and make some cool work. They do there's Foxy, they do Pressure, and seeing their progression over the last like year and some change, like it's been awesome just to see. Like I remember doing some stuff for them, seeing some of the stuff that they made, and now like kind of looking back and then seeing what they make now, it's like night and day, and it's always awesome just to see people push themselves and better their craft.
With the ongoing market, I guess I'll say, field of social media, do you think that there would be some significance to also post something like this up on Instagram or TikTok, in your opinion?
I mean, it doesn't stop one of my homies, Chill Phil. I mean, he promotes his stuff all the time, and there wherever there's a platform, there can be a following, and I'm not really one to market myself specifically, and that's just because I don't really have the time or the want to really promote myself like that because I feel like, at least personally, I don't have much to promote other than like my mixes. But once I have more music out, for sure, I'll start promoting myself. But if you feel like you need it to get somewhere in our scene specifically, I don't think it's really needed. The most you'll need is like Blue Sky
Well,
just to keep up and post yourself.
what I meant was with the idea
Mhm.
of being able to be motivating with the videos and
Mhm.
understanding of teaching how to
Oh,
DJ and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I mean, for you too. I mean, I
Right.
feel like everybody, if you have an opportunity to use a free
Mhm.
platform to promote yourself for free, like do it. But at the same time, we're in a day and age where like even TikTok videos right now of VR chat stuff are blowing up. Whether it's just
Mhm.
funny skits, or we haven't seen too many DJ anythings through virtual reality. Maybe a handful of
Mhm.
VRChat DJs that are performing on TikTok currently, which we would love
Mhm.
to have on the show. But at the same time, it's I feel like it's an ongoing field. Like it's fluctuating and it's hard to remain stable, but without being the Debbie Downer of it. As much as it's positive information, will it float to the surface over all of the other VR
Mhm.
chat videos and content that is constantly being pumped out that's kind of showcasing negative things?
The Dark Side of the Riddim Scene,
Oh
Part
my,
2, Volume
like,
1,
dude,
VR Chat.
please, because at least somebody will watch it because they're slamming their keyboard, being like, "This is something new. I need to be a part of this."
What you didn't know about mow the lawn. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah. I hope it would float to the top. I think especially short form content like tips and tricks. Like there's a lot of producers that make short form content, but like here's a little neat little trick that you can do to like amp up something with your production. I think doing some short form content like that to like for our scene specifically of like here's a setting that you might not know about in VR that'll help you if you keep crashing while you're at a rave or something like that, or like here's a setting in each of these softwares so that you get the most either while performing or just something you may not have known about, and that could apply to the IRL and the VR space. It's something I've considered as well. It's just I need to learn some of the other softwares like Serato, Recordbox. I know Recordbox a little bit, but I don't know it a lot. But like Yeah, doing some stuff like that, especially like, or how to start where to start with DJing in VR chat. And I think that's something that would need to be updated almost every single year because there's always something new, and I think that's what's cool. But um, yeah, I think there is a market for it, and it could gain some traction for sure. But in terms of like doing huge numbers, maybe not so much, because I think even like content creators that focus more on like production for like IRL stuff, they still don't get crazy amount of traction, but it still gets some good traction. So I think there's a market for it for sure.
And no doubt, especially with the fact that for me, I feel like that type of content, we would get to a point where it's just like someone asks a question and then we can respond in less than 10 words. But
Mhm.
also, I'm not saying that at any point in time does it need to be monetized, but I think it'd be more funny than it would be informational, and I feel like it needs to be a nice little balance between the two, especially if you're coming in here to DJ as a hobby rather than a
Yep.
profession. But hey, we are learning how to take our hobbies to become professionals, and I feel like
Yes.
that is worth its weight in gold. It's VRC DJ Live. We got a few more minutes here with SNAX, and this is the time, man. If you're not already asking the questions in chat, what are you waiting for you to go up to them in the face and start, putting your face in their face and trying to figure out face stuff? I don't know where I was going with that. But because like I don't know, that's the point in time. It's already bad enough.
Right.
People come up to me and they're just like, "Do the thing," and I'm like, "Well,
Do the
why don't
thing.
you ask me if the thing is good? Like or how I'm feeling about the thing? Like no one asks me about that. They just say to do the thing. Um, Speaking about doing the thing, what is to come for SNAX in 2026? Have you had any
Mm.
opportunity to sit down with yourself and say what did you want to work on, especially in Q1?
Um, I think literally after ShelterCon, I literally was like, I need to make more music. Like, there is no excuse for me anymore. Like, with the exposure I got, the experience I have, of course, that little nice little notch on my resume now. There's no reason for me to say I can't do this anymore. It's like I need to go and make music. Like I need to present something. All this money I've invested into software, plugins, some lessons I've gotten, like I need to start applying it. And that's kind of what I'm going to focus a lot on, but of course putting out some videos to help the people in our community and hopefully maybe some people outside of our community. That's something I'm going to start focusing on heavily. But yeah, of course, I'm just going to still be playing here wherever I'm invited. I'm going to play. As long as the vibes are good, I'm going to be there.
And that's the idea too, because listen, as we've already known, and this is just tongue in cheek, don't nobody come after me in the comments, but just like if you end up stop performing in here, someone's bound to pick up where you left off and then take over, and then
Mhm.
you're rotting in the dust and you're like, no, my career. But that's never not the case. You just kind of you need to be at the right place at the right time and talk to the right people to kind of get you in the right direction. Speaking of which, towards the end of the show, what we like to normally do with our guests is ask a bunch of random rapid fire questions. And
Hmm.
hopefully you don't take too long to answer them, but hopefully, if you watch the show, you kind of already know what I'm going to ask. But if you haven't watched the show too often, then guess what? Random questions. Speaking of
Oh,
which, we do have a random question in chat, so I'm just going to go ahead and rapid fire it with you. Favorite Riddim track of 2025?
yeah, I saw Noir ask that. Favorite rhythm track of 2025. That's God damn it. Of course, you'd ask me a question like that. God, I'm trying to remember what the name is. I'm not gonna open the software because fuck, what is it called? I can't remember. But I mean, I still think. I mean, if we're talking that came out this year, um, Christ, it's that.
I would say just like
Oh God.
sing it to us. Can you is that a thing?
Oh, you couldn't sing this track. I can tell you that. I still think, even though it's still an older tune, I still think "Mystical Powers" is. one of my favorites. It's an older tune. It came out a couple years ago, but I still think it's still much that hasn't topped that track.
I know when it comes to understanding your favorite track this year, I think the world is also wondering who the best DJ in the world is, in your opinion.
Like in VR and or IRL or just
in the world.
In the world. Oh my god, it's a battle between DJ Ramon Sucesso and Yuta.
Who are those?
Like,
whoa, you kind of had the roll of the tongue there. It was getting kind of sensual there.
Yeah, DJ Ramon Sucesso is a Brazilian DJ. He spins excuse me, baile funk, and the dude is crazy with it. Like I played some recently, and I had to watch how he mixes it to get an authentic feel of how the genre needed to be mixed. I think he's up there, and it's a battle between him and my good friend Yuna. Like, she's insane. I think she's better than me, and she'll deny it every single time. But I think she's better than me, and I think she's one of my favorite DJs to listen to. If there was out of all the events I could go listen to, and even like anywhere else, if Yuna's playing, I'm probably gonna be there to listen to Yuna play.
See, there you go. Speaking of which, was something that I enjoy listening to is, or even asking is, what artists do you constantly be listening to on Spotify that is your favorite, and what is an upcoming artist that you just learned about this year?
So one I'm always listening to, it's a battle between EPROM, G Jones, and Skrillex. At least with his latest mixtape that he came out with, like that's I know Voltage 4 just came out by Space Laces. That shit is crazy, but I still think the Andy Warhol mixtape is top notch. That shit is crazy. But my most listened to artist is probably, like, if I'm being completely real, I don't listen to much like EDM constantly. It's always like something else. It's probably like Kendrick Lamar, honestly, that I'm always listening to.
See, that's what we had the question on there. Is what is a guilty pleasure genre that you like that not many people know about? I think we kind of touched upon this a little bit, but I know Kendrick Lamar is definitely he's the GOAT. So,
guilty pleasure genre. Oh man, probably hard groove. Yeah, hard groove techno is probably one of my guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure is asking this question: who are the top 3 DJs in VRChat that we get to look forward to that you like?
So Yuna, number 1, number 2. Christ Almighty, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Noir is still up there for me. There's hands down one of the greats. Who else? Trying to think. Oh boy, I'm really trying to think, because I listen to a lot of people, and I think a lot of people are really good. And I'm trying to be technical, but I'm also trying to be nice. Okay, last spot. Do or die. I think it's got to be Visor. Visor's goated, honestly.
There you go. See, I don't want to say that you were lingering there, and the fact that, like, you're gonna go to bed, wake up, and go, "Oh, I could have said another name, and I could have said this." But you know what? It's either you say your top 3, or you say everybody's my favorite, and be like, "Boo! Can't believe you just said it like that." But that tends to be. I think we have already answered the question of which one has fueled your creativity or inspired you the most, DJing or producing. I feel like in here you did mention that you get inspired to produce because of VR, but do you get inspired to DJ because of VR?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I whenever I'm asked to play, I'm always gonna put 110% effort into it. So I get inspired every day by some of my friends here in VR, and just VR in particular, because the crowd here is amazing.
Now, I know in virtual reality, this is gonna be a hard one for me to explain, even though it's rapid fire. In virtual reality, there tends to be the standard worlds that you go to. You know, you have to go here, or you haven't experienced VR chat. If you were going to create a bingo on the VRChat Rave bingo card, what are those 5 spaces?
Shelter, for sure.
And it doesn't have to be worlds either. It could be like any
yeah.
experiencing the entirety of the rave scene in here.
Okay, yeah, I would say like Shelter, PSHQ is up there for sure. I think if you haven't been to what is it called off the top of my head? Dev Hell, you need to go to a Dev Hell at least once. You need to go to Rizumu at least once, because the vibes there are always good. And where else people just need to go to? Whenever you see Ghost Club pop up, you gotta go. Gotta go experience it once before it never happens again.
Yeah, you don't want it to go away and then never be able to experience it, and then be part of that that group of people being like, "Oh, I'm too new to explore something like that." And be like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's go sit down with Grandpa so I can tell you a little bit about what was going on." But before we get on out of here, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter still, but I don't really post on there. But yeah, it's just SNAX VR, I think is still what it is on Twitter, and then on Blue Skies, where I'm mainly at SNAX Beats. And then yeah, just that's pretty much it. I don't have an Insta because I'm lazy. But yeah, I'm also on SoundCloud. Should still be SNAX. So yeah, if you want to go find my stuff, and then my mixes are on Internet Archive. So good, you can go find them there.
Make sure you go listen to the EP up on SoundCloud, because that is definitely a nice little sit down with a cup of tea, some popcorn, or however you get down. You got to get your snacks to listen to SNAX, right?
Precisely, yeah. Exactly.
Well, SNAX, it was a pleasure to have you here on the show. I can't wait to see what you got cooking up with the YouTube videos coming up in 2026, and maybe we'll see you again on the road very soon.
Of course, it was a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
And of course, that's going to do it for us here on VRCDJ Live. And just per usual, all the stuff that we've talked about here on the show, whether it be a highlight or a replay, you'll be able to find up on YouTube at VRCDJ Live. We will be posting updates, as well as our lineup for I was going to say December. We're already there. Our lineup for January 2026 coming out in a couple weeks. Obviously, we want everybody to celebrate the holidays, so don't expect it to come out anytime soon. We have plenty of things coming on down the line too. You can see everything as far as our program is concerned up on the link tree at the link tree at VRC DJ Live, of course. Some housekeeping for us to talk about for the next couple of weeks. Fortunately for us, SNAX is our last guest for December. But we still have a cracked out lineup for January, which we will be able to, again, showcase later up on X and Blue Sky. Please, please, please take a look at that when we do get to it, because we have some great guests coming. Can't wait to talk to them. Actually, SNAX hinted to one of them here on the program that we will probably end up seeing very soon as well. For our housekeeping concerning coming up this Thursday for Christmas Day, we're going to be reintroducing VRC DJ Radio. So for those people that had submitted their mixes for VRC DJ Radio, you're all good to go. Except for maybe just a handful of people, I guess. I'm still waiting on a couple of things. We will be posting the complete lineup of who's going to be performing, and you're more than welcome to be listening. We're going to be broadcasting that live here on Twitch. So obviously you don't have to go too far to listen to some of your favorite mixes during Christmas Day. From some of your favorite DJs here in VR chat. A couple of other fun things that we've got going on for the remainder of the month. The day after Christmas, on the 26th, we will actually be doing a live remote at Project Community's Festmas which will be airing next week, and you'll be able to. It's just kind of like their Project Community Fest, except Christmas themed. So we're actually going to be sitting in and just broadcasting live, talking to whoever wants to stop by to talk about the rave community. We might find some DJs. We might find some club owners. Who knows? It's going to be 2 hours of fun while we sit there and just kind of rattle off some of our favorite things. Funny, my favorite things, kind of like the songs of the holidays. Ha ha ha. Lastly, another thing that we are going to be promoting very, very soon is we are actually going to be doing a New Year's wrap up next Thursday. I know we were kind of discussing having VRC DJ Radio have a repeat of the show, but I think it would be an even more fun time to sit down and go back in time in 2025 and see exactly what we were talking about and see if we've actually met our goals within the DJ community here in VRChat. So we'll have all of that information again up on X and Blue Sky. Make sure that you're following us on all socials, of course, because we have all sorts of new information coming from all different angles on Instagram and on YouTube as well. So for our guests, SNAX, and the staff behind the glass of VRC DJ Live, I'm Rob Roman, and thank you guys for coming by, and we will see you next time.